should you build Robin? Short answer, maybe. Long answer, this entire video.
はじめまして、ドクター。新人オペレーターのロビンです。
Robin is a 5-star Trapmaster specialist from Colombia. A former bodyguard that ended up on a mission to assassinate Mountain. But after the events of Mansfield prison break, she works in Rhodes Island as a specialist operator under silence referral to help paying for her father treatment. Robin is a welfare Trapmaster operator from Mansfield break event. A specialist that can use her trap to bind and push enemy on any part of the map. Can this operator with sleep deprivation look be useful for your team? We will see. As a Trapmaster, Robin can deploy a trap anywhere on the stage's ground tile. And have a similar range like a marksman sniper. It cannot be placed if the tile is occupied by enemy or allies. The trap won't consume deployed slot. Will activate once it's stepped on by the ground enemy. Cannot be targeted by ranged enemy. Enemy with invisibility can bypass it. And currently none of this specialist archetype trap can damage aerial enemies. The traps have a 5 seconds redeployment time and 3 DP cost. The traps won't straight up drain your DP even if you use the trap one after another. But doing that will reduce your DP generation to around 0.4 DP per second. Overall, DP shouldn't be a problem if you use her trap in general content. Especially if you have a DP generating vanguard. As for her general stats, Robin has a similar attack and offensive stats like a 4-star or some 5-star marksman. And pretty much similar stats like Frost. Also, Trapmaster attack speed is slightly more quicker than a marksman. This, as far as I know, makes them the ranged unit with the quickest attack speed. Although this matters very little, as Robin doesn't have any skills to boost her own attack directly. Moving to her talent. The talent will affect how many traps that Robin can deploy and store. At Ita she can store 10 traps at her disposal, and deploy up to 8 traps to the battlefield. But with her potentials, she can deploy up to 10 traps. And this is her potentials upgrade list. Like other welfare unit, the potentials will make her redeployment time and DP cost to a normal 5-star Trapmaster from Gacha. But she has an impactful talent improvement. The potential will allow her to deploy 2 more traps. It will be useful to cover lots of tiles during a downtime of enemy waves. And currently, she doesn't have a module upgrade. Moving to her skills. All of her skills are tied with her trap and a passive effect. With the active effect will only add 1 trap to her disposal. The first skill will make her trap deal some percentage of Robin's attack. And bind the target for a few seconds. The effect will only active to that one enemy who stepped the trap first. The damage and bind duration is pretty good, as you can cover enemies' path with trap and delay their movement, or even kill them. The drawback of this skill is pretty much the drawback of Robin's archetype. If facing multiple or fast moving enemy, she can have a trouble inflicting the bind, as the enemies may occupy the tile before you can deploy her trap. And the skill can only bind enemy for 3 seconds, while it needs 5 seconds to redeploy. The second skill is also pretty similar with her first skill. This one will inflict more damage, and the trap will push enemy instead of binding them. The direction of the push is depending from where the enemy came from, and can only attack and push the enemy who stepped on it first. The good thing about Robin's skill 2 is that you can push enemy out of the trap's tile, and gives you enough time to deploy the trap on the same tile again. But it really depends on the push level and the weight of the enemy. Pretty fun and useful mechanic to partner with other crowd control operator. But might need an advanced strategy to use. And additional materials to upgrade her skill to M3 to increase the push level. For skill masteries, I recommend you use and master her first skill. As bind can be inflicted to almost every enemy and it has a good duration. While how effective the skill 2 to push enemy, it will be depending on the weight level of the enemy. And it requires M3 to increase the push level, which can be quite expensive. As for her base skills, Robin will increase the training speed of Specialist Operator Mastery by 30%. If training for M1, further increase it plus 45%. So, will Robin become a good operator for your team? A good operator to inflict, bind and push enemy. Being able to deploy her trap on any corner of the map is her selling point. But she also comes with plenty of drawback. That requires more advanced strategy to use. For new players she can do a decent DPS and crowd control, but really takes investment to perform well. That I think she's more suitable for an endgame player, with core units already built. And even if you build her to the fullest, she's more of a fun unit to use rather than meter. But surely she can be helpful in some certain niche. Personally I find Robin very helpful in Twilight of Wallermond event, as her trap can be placed and used to charge the gramophone that will attack enemy. And she helps delaying enemies' movement like the golem or that suicide bomber. That should be all. Adios.